Eros. The film's story begins with Eros talking to Mikael in the common room and telling him he will get him out of there on one condition: that he works for him. And he also specifies that he will take him on the first day to attend his daughter Risa's ballet performance. Eros agrees to the terms of working for Mikael in return for his liberty, and while they are traveling, Mikael talks to Eros about his daughter Risa and tells him that he is worried about her most of the time because she is alone, and because an unknown person has been sending her threatening messages for some time now, without Mikael being able to discover the origin. And that is why he asks Eros to become his daughter's bodyguard, and promises him to enjoy his assets as long as he perfectly carries out his job, and he threatens to show him his other side if he thinks about betraying him. Mikael and Eros arrive at the party hall, and we see Risa absorbed in her dance on stage. A light fixture suspended from the ceiling begins to flicker precariously, nearly falling down onto Risa's head. However, Eros darts forward and rescues her in the final moment. Everyone is astonished by his heroic deed, even hailing him as a genuine superhero. While Michael's worry for his daughter's life grows, and he convinces himself that the spotlight incident is not a mere coincidence, but the result of the plan by the sender of the threatening messages to his daughter. Eros joins his friends Diego and Peyton and discusses his recent employment with them, and at the same time expresses his fear because any harm that might befall Michael's daughter would make him solely responsible. Peyton reassures him about the big reward from Michael. Eros highlights to them the need to secure steady employment so they can arrange for Simon's release from the facility. And it appears that Simon is their youngest companion, and they are presently residing in the group home. Meanwhile, Michael eats breakfast at home, his friend, and tells him he has found a solution to his problems. Then he opens the door and Eros enters and announces that Risa will only leave the house accompanied by him. But Risa protests because she does not want to be watched all day. And stifled, however, her father Michael settles the matter by reminding her that Eros is the one who saved her at the ballet gala. And then Risa gets angry with him and leaves. Eros was walking around the house to discover it and sees Risa swimming in the pool. And the devil almost whispered to him how beautiful she is if her father Michael hadn't come in to remind him that his daughter is a red line and that he is not allowed to go near her, getting close, reminding him he's just her guard. And the next morning, Eros accompanies Risa to school, and it seems that she is upset by his presence, especially because her father enrolled her as a classmate so that Eros would always stay close to her. But their classmate Raul is irritated by Eros and starts to choke him. After class, Risa asks Eros to step away from her a bit because she's not a star for the public, in her own words. Then she sits down with her tense friend, and her anger rises when classmates mock her bodyguard and she sees her photos with him. But her friends try to calm her and say she's lucky because her bodyguard is polite and handsome, and his name is Eros, a name she finds beautiful because it symbolizes the god of love to her. At the library, Eros was studying when her ex-boyfriend Raul arrives and scares her, then threatens not to invite her to his birthday party if she doesn't invite him to hers. And Eros replies that's exactly what she wants, because she doesn't want to go to his party, nor invite him to hers. So Raul gets angry because she was his ex-boyfriend, and Eros was observing the situation, trying to reassure Risa. Eros goes with Risa to ballet practice, but she falls on her feet, and amidst the laughter of others, Risa gets even angrier and decides to go to her friend Manuela's party. To relax on the way, he asks her the reason for her constant annoyance and the secret of the person who wants to kill her. However, Risa sternly commands him to cease his inquiries, as her father merely suspects someone intends to eliminate her, confirming that someone deliberately ripped her shoe during ballet practice and no one else caused it. They arrive at Manuela's house, and Risa appears to caution Eros against entering the celebration, as it is exclusively for intimate acquaintances, yet Eros is overwhelmed by his inquisitiveness and decides to enter to see the rich people's world. And Manuela notices his presence and asks him if he is Risa's new boyfriend, and Eros. They deny it, saying she is just a relative, and suddenly, Risa shows up and reminds him that she had explicitly requested that he stay out of the celebration. The party's musical acts start as Raúl steps onto the stage to make fun of Risa and Eros, openly mocking them in front of the entire audience. But Eros loses his temper and spars with him until Risa intervenes furiously and leaves the premises. Following their return to the house, Eros enters his bedroom to speak with Peyton, leaving Risa deeply bothered by the events that transpired. She decides to stop following Raúl on his page and scrolls through Eros's photos. It is clear that she has become attracted to him. The next morning, Eros is surprised by the arrival of Peyton and Diego at the school gate. He asks her for help because some boys are harassing them. Risa expresses her desire to accompany them, but Eros insists that she go to her ballet class. However, Risa is jealous seeing Peyton get on his motorcycle with him, so she follows them. Peyton gives him a length of metal piping so that he can take part in wrecking the harasser's motorcycle. Then he runs away. It is evident that Risa was thrilled by this adventure. She confesses to Eros that he is a mysterious person who has conquered her heart, and she doesn't know how to act around him. And after their return home, the two find Mikhail waiting for them. He reprimands Risa for being late coming home, ordering her to respect the household rules, and warns Eros about any negligence in his duty to protect his daughter. It seems that Risa and Eros are ignoring each other after this incident. At school, Raúl freaks out since Risa ignores him. He begs her to gain his approval, but Risa deliberately chooses to sit next to Eros to annoy him further because she no longer loves him. Later that night, Risa's friend, Jessie, tells Eros that they are actively working to uncover the identity of the person sending threatening messages directed at Risa. Eros checks the last message from the unknown person saying Risa must pay for the mistake even if she is innocent. Everyone goes to a party with Eros's friends. And on the way, Risa looked at Eros with loving eyes. She seems to have fallen for him. After they got to the party, Risa notices that Eros's friends call him the Legend because he is the only one who survived the fire that occurred in the restaurant where his parents were employed, as they perished in that very fire. Risa, Eros, and their friends carry on the celebration on the beach until the following dawn. Risa asks Eros why he is nicknamed the Legend. Eros tells her the story of his parents' death. Risa comforts him in her own way, and for his 18th birthday, Eros is surprised to discover that Jessie has invited Diego and Peyton, who are causing chaos in the house. Diego handles Michael's weapons as if he were playing PUBG. While Risa is in her room, suddenly the window shatters and a black bullet bearing the inscription, "Your days are numbered between," appears. Risa is terrified and asks Eros to end the story. She is wondering whether her friend Jessie invited Raúl to the gathering, as she is beginning to have suspicions about him, and her doubts grow when she discovers he is not at the party. And after the guests leave, Eros searches the house without finding anyone. Then he enters Michael's office and discovers a photo with Michael and his wife and Eros's parents. He wonders why his parents are in the same photo with Risa's father, and questions Risa about the image because he thinks there is a secret concerning him. They get closer, but Risa changes her mind last minute and goes back to her room, and the next day, Risa gets a present that contains teeth and a note stating, "I have known you for a long time now." Risa gets scared, she goes to the club and asks Eros to accompany her to the costume party organized by Raúl to search his house and get proof against him. And during the noisy party, Eros and Risa sneak into Raúl's room. Raúl suddenly enters with another girl. He hides in the closet. Raúl opens the closet and finds Risa there, who claims she came to retrieve her dress that she had forgotten. Then she kicks him in the leg and runs away with Eros. They continue the party at the pool, and the next day after they return from school, Eros and Risa find Michael waiting for them. Michael sends Eros away, thanking him for his services. But Eros asks him for an explanation about the photo discovered in his office. Michael replies he only worked with his family for 1 week before the accident, because they were employed in his unauthorized restaurant, which lacked fire extinguishers, which is perhaps the cause of Eros's parents' death in the restaurant. Eros moves in with Diego and Peyton, but he cannot stop thinking about Risa, who also cannot forget him. She stumbles upon his journal in her room and discovers that he criticized her and her family at the start of his job there. Risa then thinks he was just playing with her in a casual relationship. She sends him a message saying she understood his truth. During the ballet training session, Eros shows up and clarifies to Risa that initially he perceived her as haughty, yet he truly loved her deeply within his core. Risa is in shock because she believed he was playing with her, but love prevails. He reconciles in a torrential downpour. Then he returns to Risa's house and their love ignites. And at night, while she is preparing his coffee, Risa accidentally enters the online school group and discovers that Peyton works there. She is astonished and wakes up Eros because she suspects her, but Eros dismisses Peyton's involvement in the threatening messages. Then he returns to his friend's house. Peyton arrives and finds him asleep on the sofa. She feels tense when Eros asks about her job and why he disappeared. For 3 days, she says she was just making coffee. Subsequently, she speaks to him about her girlfriend Risa, while Michael is celebrating his new company and dispatches someone to fetch his daughter who is running late. He is surprised to discover that she is heading to Eros's house, who continues to interrogate Peyton. Peyton gets agitated by all the questions. She pushes Eros, who faints. She finds Risa's message on her phone. Telling him she's coming makes her more scared. And a few moments later, Risa knocks on the door. Peyton lets her in, says Eros is running late and she must go to her cafe job. But Risa tries to keep her there a bit. Then someone knocks on the door again. Michael enters and asks Peyton if she is the one who sent the threatening messages to his daughter. Here, we discover the surprise, because Peyton asks Michael if he remembers her well. Then she asks him to focus on her words and tells him that she has come to claim her right. She points a hand. They accuse him, and the rich like him, of causing disasters and forgetting what they did, and at the same moment, Eros regains consciousness and joins the discussion. Peyton tells Michael he caused their family's death, especially Eros's parents, and that he forced Eros to bear the guilt for his parents' death throughout his whole life so he could evade jail time following the blaze started by carelessness at his unlicensed eatery, where Peyton's mother was employed alongside Eros's family and was also killed with them in the restaurant blaze. Eros tries to calm Peyton, but she insists on revenge, and as Eros tries to get Risa and her father out, Peyton shoots. Michael is shot and dies right away. Peyton is arrested for murder, and after a few days, Eros comforts Risa. They subsequently spend time together until Risa has recovered, and they move forward together because neither of them is to blame for the entire incident.